A couple of weeks ago, we talked about the traditional Chinese server edition. This is something that's going to be coming out in the future for Taiwan and the surrounding traditional Chinese-speaking and reading community. And essentially there was 8 days ago a traditional Chinese server media and player meet and greet with Yoshi P. They did a bit of a sort of demonstration. As you can see on screen, this is the YouTube footage effectively talking about this new version of Final Fantasy XIV and what the Taiwanese version will look like. Apparently we've got some details on this, so I thought we'd do a quick video. First of all, the Taiwanese version upon release will be immediately at 7.0. So this is something that a lot of people feared would be that it would be, a catch-up mechanic from 2.0 like all of the other versions, but it seems that it's launching straight at 7.0, so it means that they've done their localization and translation. Apparently the publishers took the bulk of that, however, from the Chinese server and localized it for the Taiwanese server, which, it makes it a lot quicker. Just this portion alone, they said, took half a year to do, and we're looking for an additional 1 to 2 more months for this to be completed. So that gives you a good idea of an estimate. The Taiwanese server's launch will be divided into 4 phases. The first set will be the foundation, i.e. the setup with their ISP localization, cash shop, customer service and registration setup. Their second phase of this is their testing, which will be divided into a closed beta test. There'll be 1 and closed beta test 2. This phase, your data will be wiped and not carried over, so they're doing beta testing to make sure everything works. And then there'll be an early access period where your data will carry over to the full game when it goes live, and then the stage 4 will be a publish. So of course we're thinking about pricing. The base game itself apparently will be 1,280 Taiwanese dollars, which is around $38.59 USD, and all expansions afterwards will be free. This is the biggest piece of news. So obviously launching at 7.0, and then the base game is $38, which is pretty good. It's obviously monthly subscription based, much like other regions. However, some regions have, internet cafes and other things, like the Korean version is a little bit different. There'll be game cards, which apparently are $13 or 450 Taiwanese dollars, or credit card ones for a credit card subscription for $12.66 or 420 Taiwanese dollars. Since there will be different phases in terms of testing and how the market works, apparently the publisher has come up with the additional early bird plans. That's what they're calling it. The base plan is the base game and a month's subscription. Gives you 77% off if you do this early bird system, and it's 399 Taiwanese dollars, which is $12 that you get basically the closed beta test 1 until the game launches. However, you don't get early access with that. The deluxe edition includes the base game and 1 month subscription and 500 crystals, which is the currency they're going to use on their shop. So very similar to the Korean version. It might know there's a crystal store, and you can exchange those, top them up with your payment options, and purchase from a cash shop for items. As well as included in that is early access. That's going to be $30, so that's the difference. You're basically paying for that deluxe edition. You're getting the same as the base plan, but you're also getting those crystals as well as that early access period. They're also selling a platinum edition of the early bird thing, which is the base game, 1 month subscription, and 1,000 crystals, as well as the Woodland Warden's attire is included, as well as the Cactuar earring, as well as the Sunspun Cumulus mount, which is of course that cloud mount, and that will be $56 or 1,880 Taiwanese dollars. And then there's even another version called the Ultimate Edition, which it has the base game, a month subscription, 2,500 crystals, the Magitech attire, the Cruise Chaser mount, Moogle earrings are also included. That works at $87 or 2,880 Taiwanese dollars. So there's 4 versions of early bird purchasing for the game, but essentially your monthly sub is, if you use a credit card or debit card, is going to be $12, $12.66 or 420 Taiwanese dollars, which is actually pretty good, pretty cheap. Honestly, it's not too bad. And the early bird bonuses are there for mostly people who want to get benefits. Maybe they're coming from other versions and they want that head start on the cash shop to get some of the things that they miss from the other versions, maybe the Western versions of the game. Bit of an incentive. Of course, a lot of people will be more inclined to play a Western region version of the game, so there needs to be some incentives for them to come over for their native language. And that's, I guess, what they're doing is crystals and a pretty decent sort of price cut, 77% off with those early bird prices. Of course, things will go up after that period, however long that lasts. Additionally, you can only select one of those plans, so you can only choose the Ultimate Edition or the base plan or the Deluxe Edition or the Platinum Edition. You have to choose from one of the four. And the 30-day sub that comes with these packages above starts when the game launches, they say. So during early access, you're playing the game for free. So it's only starting when it launches. A credit card only plan, they do reiterate, once launched. The base game months up and the 15-day free trial period, which is $29. In 15 days, you can decide if you want to play or not. And it's no restriction. So again, they've got the free trial period essentially for this as well, for 15 days, as well as, you get that free trial and then you pay for it monthly. That's included. Other pieces of information, the publisher involved and Square Enix are hoping to host offline events. Yoshi P even mentioned that one day maybe a Taiwanese fan fest will happen, since that's what they know those players around the world are looking forward to. The actual release date is currently unknown. They haven't set it in stone, basically because of that beta testing, but the publishers are aiming for the end of 2025, so you're looking at a fall sort of release date. There's a bit of speculation whether or not there's going to be any IP blocks on this. However, it's a good chance that it's going to be un-IP blocked, unlike the Korean and Chinese version, because of the acknowledgement of Taiwanese and Hong Kong players playing on global. So it's likely that it will be even more of an incentive. So if you have friends that you've made globally, but also want to go over and make a character there to play with your Taiwanese friends who want to play on this new server system, then they should be able to, or at least that's not confirmed, but it was sort of hinted at during their presentation. Additionally, Yoshi P also did a shout out to the Primals tour, which apparently is going to be in August in Taiwan itself. So again, they're trying to open up all of the things that the other regions around the world get, or at least some other regions get, and include the Taiwanese audience. And a lot of people responded quite positively to the whole pricing system, saying how good of a deal everything sort of looked, that they get 7.0, all of the incentives, the different packages and things. So it's pretty cool. They also gave out to the attendees a collab tote bag, I think it's called, with Donkey, which also had a glow stick and some other merch, which looks pretty cool. We have a picture here of that bag with kind of like a crystal on there. That's pretty awesome. There were also mini games at the event, signboards, character cutouts for the attendees. Basically, they tried to pull off a mini fan fest for the fan meet and greet, which is pretty nice, actually, isn't it? So give them a little slice of what to expect, that they are very much being included like the other regions. So they're going full hog with this one. They actually extended the event as well, apparently, from what I've been reading. It was originally going to be a 4-hour long event. It turned out to 8 hours because Yoshi P decided to sign and interact with every single attendee, and there was roughly over 300 people. So you can imagine how cool that would have been to have been given that time, and how exhausting that must have been for Yoshi P. But yeah, honestly, pretty good news coming out of that. Again, a lot of people, from what I've seen, are still on the fence of why this version exists, but I guess they want to be inclusive and open up new regions of the game. And hopefully, if we can believe the rumors and kind of the unconfirmed iterations of this presentation, hopefully there wouldn't be an IP lock, because I don't think that would be conducive to the sort of population size of what they want versus what they can expect if they don't. But yeah, I thought we'd do a little video talking about this for anybody who's interested. Let me know if this interests you, if you're a Taiwanese resident or somebody who speaks and reads and writes in traditional Chinese, if this interests you. Of course, latency is something that would probably encourage a lot of people to play, but are you set firmly into your global version of the game, or are you tempted considering all of those offers and of course the fact that the game's launching in 7.0, so you've not got to wait for updates? It's going to be presumably updated regularly and probably brought in line with current releases of a global version pretty promptly, I would imagine. But yeah, let me know what you think, and I'll see you all next time.